Good evening and welcome. You're watching Breaking Views with me, Sanket Upadhyay, a show where we get you all the views so that you get the complete picture. Now, you see what has happened is that there are two private member bills that were introduced by the members of the government. What is a private members bill? It is a bill which is introduced in a private capacity by any member of parliament every Friday in parliament. Now, this is parliamentary procedure. Whatever a single MP feels is a bill that needs to be tabled. For the record, it is tabled. Now, it may or may not see the light of the day. At least on record, a bill has been tabled. So, this is called a private members bill. Two such bills were tabled in Parliament in the winter session. One, bill number 1 on the Uniform Civil Code. Now, we know that this has been an old election promise of the Bharatiya Janata Party. It finds its mention in manifesto after manifesto. And the other, a population control bill, which has been placed as a private members bill in the past also, but more recently it was tabled by the Gorakhpur MP of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Ravi Kishan. It's ironical that Mr. Kishan, God bless his soul and love to his children, has way more than 2 children. So his own law that he proposes is not applicable to him. In a situation like this, we have to ask a fundamental question. What is the purpose behind getting these bills? Is it to test waters politically ahead of 2024? Or, as is always the case, as is always debated, that perhaps an attempt will be made to demonize a community for political gains? Let's first take a look at the population control bill. Is there a need for a bill or a law? So let's first deep dive into the graphics. What you see on your screen right now is a declining decadal growth in the growth rate of population. So the growth of the population, this is the Ministry of Home Affairs data, in the census period 81 to 91 was 23.87%, which means the population was growing at the rate every decade of 23%, 23.8. This growth rate came down between 91 and 2001 to 21.5%. It further came down to 17.7%. So as you can see, we are already seeing a downward trajectory as far as our population is concerned. So do we need that law? Graphic number 2, India's total fertility rate on your screen right now. As far as the fertility rate is concerned, beg your pardon, that figure, the first figure is wrong. Between 92 to 93, the fertility rate was 3.4%. In 2015-2016, it came down to 2.2%, and in 2019-2021, it further came down to 2%, which means again from 3.4 to 2.2 to 2%, our fertility rate is also going down. Now, an argument is made often that the fertility rate among Muslims is more than the Hindus. And that is a big problem. So the fertility rate among Muslims in 1992 was 4.4%. That in Hindus in 1992 was 3.3%. So you could see that there was a 1% gap. But in 2021, the Muslim fertility rate came down to 2.6. In Hindus, it is at 2.1. So as you can see, where the gap between Muslims and Hindus in 1992 was 1, has been reduced to 0.6, 0.5 to be precise, which means half. What does this prove? That the decline in the fertility rate among Muslims is faster than the decline in the Hindu fertility rate. And all of this is happening without any law in picture. Increasing education standards, health standards, all of them are contributors. Now, as far as UCC is concerned, that is the other contentious issue. We know that this is part of each and every manifesto of the Bharatiya Janata Party. A private members bill was introduced by BJP MP Kirodi Lal Meena, who in fact is now with us also. Thank you very much, Mr. Meena, for joining us. You know, there are pros and cons as far as this bill is concerned. Is bill के पक्ष में भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं, इसके खिलाफ भी बहुत सारे लोग हैं. समाज के बहुत सारे लोगों का ये मानना है that this is इतनी डाइवर्सिटी है इस देश में, उसमें आप इस तरीके का समान कानून ले आएंगे तो फिर लोग अपना रिलीजन प्रैक्टिस कैसे करेंगे? वहीं पर जो इसके पक्ष में है उनका कहना है कि ये सारे नागरिकों को एक समान बनाएगा, यूनिफॉर्म हो जाएगा।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
तो आप जी मीणा जी, मैं आपसे सवाल ये पूछना चाहता हूं, फिर प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल क्यों? फिर ऐसा क्यों है कि भारतीय जनता पार्टी को ये कानून लाने में देरी हो रही है? क्योंकि आपके हर मैनिफेस्टो में रहता है, फिर भी कानून नहीं आया, प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल है।
बिल्कुल, ये हर मैनिफेस्टो में रहा है और जनसंघ के समय से ये हमारे एजेंडे में रहा है। और कानून लाने की आवश्यकता इसलिए पड़ी है कि अपने यहाँ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है, मैरिज के हिसाब से, रिलीजन के हिसाब से, सेक्स के हिसाब से, रेस के हिसाब से, बर्थ ऑफ प्लेस के हिसाब से। तो ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होना चाहिए, यूनिफॉर्मिटी होनी चाहिए लॉ में। और आपकी जानकारी में होगा कि जब कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली में बहस हो रही थी तो डॉक्टर भीमराव अंबेडकर चाहते थे कि समान नागरिक संहिता देश में आनी चाहिए। उस समय कुछ मुस्लिम प्रतिनिधियों ने इसको विरोध किया था कि इनको पर्सनल लॉ के तहत चलने देना चाहिए, लेकिन उस आर्टिकल 44 में इस बात को मेंशन किया है कि राज्यों को समान नागरिक संहिता लागू करनी चाहिए। और ये भी आपकी जानकारी है कि जो शाहबानो प्रकरण हुआ था, उसका गुजारा भत्ता का और भरण पोषण का मामला आया था, तो चीफ जस्टिस वाई चंद्रचूड़ ने कहा था कि समान नागरिक संहिता देश में लागू होनी चाहिए। बीच में दूसरे जजेज ने, खरे साहब ने, और अभी कई बार सुप्रीम कोर्ट और विभिन्न अदालतों ने इस पर चिंता जाहिर की है कि ये कॉमन सिविल कोड आना चाहिए।
जी
तो
डॉक्टर मीणा, मेरा आपसे सवाल ये है, देखिए ये तो आपने अपनी बात कह दी कि ये बीजेपी के मैनिफेस्टो में, ये बात सच भी है, इसमें कोई एम्बिग्विटी नहीं है, कभी ये छुपा नहीं है, बीजेपी ने अपनी स्थिति बहुत स्पष्ट की है। फिर भी एक समन्वय बनाने में भारतीय जनता पार्टी सरकार नाकाम रही है कि आप जो स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं उनको साथ नहीं ला पाए अपनी इस बात पे, आप उनको मना नहीं पाए। इसी वजह से आज भी इतने सालों बाद भी आप प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल जरूर लाते हैं, लेकिन
जी,
शायद ये महसूस हो रहा होगा पार्टी को कि हम सबको साथ में नहीं ला पाए हैं।
ऐसी बात कहीं है नहीं। सबको साथ आने का मतलब, देखो, बुद्धिजीवी भी इस बारे में चिंता व्यक्त कर चुके हैं, विभिन्न अदालतें भी इस बारे में चिंता कर चुकी है, कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन असेंबली में भी इस बारे में बहस हो चुकी है, और अब देश में एक वातावरण सा बनने लगा है, सब साथ आने लगे हैं कि अभी इसकी बहती आवश्यकता है।
डॉक्टर मीणा, मैं आपको एक और सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। देखिए, यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड को लेकर के एक प्रश्न यह भी होता है कि कहीं ऐसा ना हो कि यूसीसी के चलते एक हिंदू कोड सब लोगों पर लागू हो जाए। एक भय है, एक लोगों के मन में एक डाउट है कि हिंदू बहुल क्योंकि देश है, तो इस वजह से हिंदुओं के जो सिविल कोड हैं वही सब पर थोप दिए जाएंगे या लागू हो जाएंगे।
नहीं, देखो, ऐसा है, मैं एसटी का आदमी हूं, मैं हिंदू हूं, मेरे को अधिकार है एक से अधिक शादी करने का। मेरे समान जो हिंदू धर्म की आस्था रखता है, वो अगर दूसरी शादी करेगा तो उसको 7 साल की सजा होगी। अपने यहां देश में एक मुस्लिम भाई 4 शादी कर सकता है, 3 कर सकता है, 5 कर सकता है। बगल के पाकिस्तान में अपनी पहली धर्मपत्नी की अनुमति के बाद ही वो शादी कर सकता है। जो ये एम्बिग्विटी है, जो डिस्पैरिटी है, उसको ये बिल खत्म करेगा। और मेरी समझ में ये किसी धर्म विशेष के या किसी जाति के खिलाफ नहीं है, ना ये हिंदू मैरिज एक्ट को किसी पर थोपने वाली बात है। मैंने आपको उदाहरण दिया, मैं हिंदू हूं, मैं 2 शादी कर सकता हूं, लेकिन आप हिंदू हो, आप 2 शादी नहीं कर सकते, करोगे तो आपको 7 साल की सजा होगी।
डॉक्टर मीणा, मैं आपसे ये जानना चाहता हूं कि कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं है कि 2024 से पहले, हम सब जानते हैं कि इस तरीके की बहस, बजाय इसके कि ढंग से बहस होने के, राजनीतिक रूप से ये हिंदू मुसलमान की ओर चली जाती है। उसमें फिर कोई आक्षेप किसी पर लगाएगा, कोई दूसरे को कुछ बोलेगा, और मतलब की बहस जो है वो नहीं हो पाएगी। आपको लगता है 24 से पहले कहीं ऐसा तो नहीं हो जाएगा कि एक माहौल बन जाएगा इस पर हिंदू मुसलमान में?
नहीं, ऐसा इसे बिल का उद्देश्य कतई नहीं है। और आप जानते हो कि जनसंघ कार्यकाल से और बीच बीच में हमारे हर एजेंडा में, हर मैनिफेस्टो में, हर पार्टी के प्रस्ताव में इसको हम लेते आए हैं। तो ये एजेंडा है। और ये हिंदू मुस्लिम करने वाली बात वही लोग कर रहे हैं जो अपीजमेंट में भरोसा करते हैं, जो मुसलमानों को अपना वोट बैंक मानते हैं। आप मानो जिस बच्ची का तलाक हो गया या जिस बच्ची के मुसलमान की बेटी प्रॉपर्टी में हिस्सा लेना चाहती है, उसको हिस्सा नहीं मिले, और हिंदू की बेटी को अपने बाप की प्रॉपर्टी में हिस्सा मिल जाए, तो यहाँ मुसलमान को नुकसान कहाँ है? उसकी बेटी को रिलीफ मिल रहा है, उसकी बेटी को फायदा मिल रहा है।
इसीलिए मेरा सवाल ये था कि आपको नहीं लगता है कि ये जो प्रक्रिया है, बजाय इसके कि ये हिंदू मुसलमान हो जाए या उस तरीके से बहस हो जाए कि तुम्हारे समाज में ये, मेरे समाज में ये, वो समन्वय बनाने का प्रयास अभी से शुरू किया हो या पहले से करें, ताकि ये स्थिति ना आए जैसे फार्म लॉ में आई, सीएए में आई, कि आप कानून पहले ले आए और उसके बाद आपने समझाने का प्रयास किया।
नहीं, तो इसीलिए प्राइवेट मेंबर बिल हम लाए हैं। इसकी पूरी डिबेट, डिस्कशन हाउस में होगा, और उसके बाद एक चीज उभर के आएगी कि कितनी कॉन्सेंसस इस पर बन पाती है जी, कितनी सहमति बन पाती है
जी। डॉक्टर मीणा, आपका बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट राज्यसभा फ्रॉम द भारतीय जनता पार्टी, थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर योर टाइम। So let's quickly start the discussion. Uniform Civil Code and population control, private bills, but is this a public messaging ahead of 2024? That's the question that we are asking. Let me introduce our guest, Ranbir Singh Pathania, spokesperson of the BJP, Waris Pathan, spokesperson of the MIM, Ratan Sharda is the author of RSS 360, Sangh and Swaraj, and Mahima Singh, spokesperson of the Congress Party. Thank you very much. It's an important discussion. Is the BJP testing waters? I want to ask this question of Mr. Ratan Sharda first. While this is part of every agenda, every manifesto, and yet even now, after all these years, we still have private member bills, which means perhaps that there is a realization within the government and the party that you can't just go ahead with something like this. It is a deeply contentious issue, given the history where you tried to steamroll bills and then in some cases you had to roll them back. Mr. Sharda.
Sanketji, thanks. First of all, this question is right, but to the wrong person. You have got a BJP on the panel list. BJP
I want to know your views. Your views.
My view as a citizen is, this is just a statement of intent, because the government did not bring an official bill. You know what happens to private bill. You yourself told that. Now coming to the Uniform Civil Code, what does the Constitution say? It says, for the Article 44. It is the duty of the state, to secure for the citizens a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. So it is the stated duty defined by the founders of the Constitution, not by BJP. So to say it is a communal angle, I am very sorry to say. You said इसका अगर राजनीतिकरण न हो, communalization न हो, पर आपने वही बहस किया। आपने ये नहीं कहा that there was no other minority which has objected to the Uniform Civil Code.
No, Ratanji, here is the thing.
Just a moment.
You are why uniform civil? See, I am reading both these private member bills together.
So
there is a uniform civil code and there is a population control bill. Though it is ironical that the person who is bringing this private members bill on population control himself has more than 2 children.
I say, okay, just a moment. See, why no other minorities objected? That is a question that you should also think. Why only Muslims are agitated? You should think about that. Why do you think UCC will be a Hindu code bill? Hindu code bill itself has a lot of problems. And why should we impose it on somebody? Suppose tomorrow a Hindu undivided family law is supposed to be good and other communities also take advantage. What is wrong with that? Because it's a good bill for United Families.
Here is the thing.
Now, coming to the specific
here is the thing. Have we moved to building a consensus with the right intention and not politics in mind?
Of Christians and Christians also, inheritance is a problem for Muslim women also. Adoption is a serious problem for Muslims and Christians also. So there are a lot of problems with family laws which discriminate against some people because they are minority different communities.
Sure. I mean, I agree with you, and that's very honest on your part to say that, it's Hindu code has its own problems. There are, and we need to revisit these things, and perhaps, I mean, your idea of going forward is to have a uniform civil code. But my point is, the essence of any law is consensus building. Has that effort been taken, Ms. Mahima Singh, in its full sincerity? Or is this a political move to test waters?
Good evening, all of you.
Good evening.
Sanket ji, it is indeed, I think, testing waters that the BJP is doing that it should have done long ago. You see, they have been in the state of Gujarat for 3 decades. And they call it their laboratory. So laboratory would have been a better place to test the waters. However, they only announce in Gujarat right ahead of 2022 elections that they will form a commission. Now, you know, one of their young ministers announces right ahead of the election that now if you bring us back to the power, we'll form a commission to, see what can be done about the Uniform Civil Code. If their intentions were really clear, they had 3 long decades. They should have done it then, like they did, the Article 47, the legislation was done.
But don't you think if there will be a commission, that will be a good platform for every section of the society, every religion to represent what they feel is a way forward?
They should have formed this commission.
No rule can be cast in stone. No?
They should have formed this commission long ago to look into these very crucial questions. You know, number one, how would they be governing these 700 odd tribes in the country who still, follow their customary laws? Also, another very critical question, Sanket, here is that, in our country, it's a quasi-federal governance system. And the states, although we do have uniform laws on a lot of fronts, Evidence Act, for instance, CPC, CRPC, Transfer of Property Act, Sales of Good Act, so on and so forth. There's a huge list of it. But do the states not form their own laws in there? And is there uniformity on that front as it is?
Yeah, this is a point which has been raised in the past also, that CRPC, IPC don't follow the one nation, one law policy. Why should personal law?
Out of an array of questions I'm putting right here across to the BJP spokesperson, if they can tell us, they appease the tribes in the northeast and they proclaim the vote that the vote.
So what is the intention behind a conversation around this? That we all come down to the politics. Waris Pathan, would you like to weigh in before I bring in Mr. Pathania?
Well,
do you feel an honest effort at having a uniform civil code should be acceptable? At least let's sit and converse.
Well, there are 2 issues which we have raised today, Saket. One is the private member which was introduced for the Population Control Act, and the other one was the UCC.
Yeah.
First, let us go to the Population Control. Earlier, the private member bill was introduced by their own MP, and with on the floor of the parliament, their minister said there is no need. We have already achieved the fertility rate, and there is no requirement to introduce a population control law. This was also stated before the Honorable Supreme Court by the central government in one of the matters. The central government has filed an affidavit, there is no need. Again, they want to introduce a private member. Now, second thing on the Uniform Civil Code which they want to make a law. Let me make it very, very clear. India, we live in a country where we follow the culture. Article 29 of the Constitution, Saket, if you just allow me to read it for just few seconds, clearly speaks about the culture. You cannot, and it is an unfettered right, which is entrenched in Article 29 of the Constitution, which says protection of interests of minorities. Any section of the citizen residing in territory of India or any part thereof having a distinct language, script or culture of its own shall have the right to conserve the same. Now, what will they do with this? They cannot change the culture. Second thing, which school of thought will they follow? The Mitaksha or the Dayabada? Third thing, just now we were in Gujarat. In Gujarat, there is a law which says that you have to take permission for conversion. Why? Now, what will happen to that? In Gujarat, there is a law, a Disturbed Areas Act, wherein if Waris Pathan wants to buy a property in Sanket's place, I cannot go there, but they can buy. What will they do with that? Thirdly, there are different states in our country which follow different laws. What will happen to them? In some states, cow is mummy. In other states, it's yummy. You, me, everybody knows. What about the Hindu Child Marriage Act? What will they do with that? Now, fourthly, coming to that, earlier, the Law Commission has said that there is no need for getting the Uniform Civil Code. Why don't they go with that? The Law Commission has stated so. But no, they want to come out prior to the election. These were the techniques, population control bill, Uniform Civil Code.
Okay, so you're saying that this is some amount of politicking and testing of waters ahead of 2024. Ranveer Pathania.
Yes, this is the thing.
Ranveer Pathania, your response. You see, are we, Mr. Pathania, suggesting here that there is nothing wrong in the civil codes of various religions or the personal law of any religion? Because, it's very important to evolve with the growing times. What may have been the rule 100, 200 years ago may not be, may not be correct in this day and age. And should we evolve? But in the effort of doing something like this, are we making a sincere effort to be inclusive?
Absolutely, absolutely, Sanket. This is a very, very sincere and very, very inclusive effort on part of the government. Not at all. This is a case that a Hindu code will be enforced amongst all the cultures, all the religions, and all the sects. Not at all a case that a majoritarianism or what Mr. Waris Pathan. I think Mr. Waris Pathan has himself laid the foundation for it. A multicultural, a multilingual, a multi-practice, and a country which is governed by a diverse set of laws. It needs to be governed by a uniform civil code. And this is not that me as BJP spokesperson or Bharatiya Janata Party at the government. This is what the Constitution of India speaks. This is what the collective will of the people, the collective will of the members of the Constituent Assembly speaks, sir. We are duty bound. No need. We cannot, we could not, we should not, and we would not question.
We have carried on a bulk of discussion on UCC.
That's it.
Let me draw your attention to population control. All indices show that the population rate of growth is actually coming down.
Sanket, I heard
it is coming down. And if the contention is that Muslims have a higher fertility rate, their rate of fertility is dropping faster.
Sanket, this is not a law. We are not at all dropping a separate law for Hindus or a separate law for Muslims. India stands.
No, I am saying what is the need of a population control law?
Sanket,
there are many leaders like Nitish Kumar who say that improve education, improve health, automatically this will be in control.
Sanket, family
and
control.
We can see the indices.
Sanket, family control, family plannings, they have been in vogue in India since decades back. If you see to once Mr. Subhash Chandra Bose took over as the president of the Indian National Congress at Tripuri session. So Mr. Subhash Chandra Bose speaks almost, we could say 70, 80 years back.
Okay,
he speaks Hindu-Muslim rift and
very quickly, Mr. Pathan, on the point of population control and whether we need a law, and then Mr. Sharda.
We want to make it more effective.
Well, Sanket, there are data which speaks for itself, saying that the fertility rate has considerably gone down, especially in the Muslims. And now the BJP spokesperson is talking about the population explosion. Let me remind him, just today, their own BJP leader got one daughter. Congratulations to him. Yesterday, their own BJP MP, member of Parliament, Ravi Kishan, said that he has got 4 children now. Had the Congress brought the population control bill earlier, he would not have fathered 4 children. No,
sir, no argument.
These are the people. Sorry. We have got the data with us to show and suggest that who is going.
Sir, this is no argument, sir.
Sir. You file a
population increase, sir.
Supreme Court. In that affidavit, you mentioned that the fertility rate has gone down. There is no need for getting a population control bill law. Then wow.
Okay, Ratan Sharda, very quickly, I am running out of time. Mr. Sharda, you see, only specifically on population control, do you feel that, forget the politics around it, is a law even required? Look at the indicators.
Well, Sanket,
our rate of growth is already on the decline.
NDTV earlier also, I'll quote the same figure. India has 4% water, 18% population. Future of world is tied around water wars. We know that. How Beijing is trying to control those resources. We know we are facing climate change. We know that food production is going to go down and there is going to be hunger all over the world. And we are seeing what is the effect.
Mr. Sharda, will a law necessarily work? My question.
Yes, because law will work in the sense that finally, do we need a better life for those people who are living on this planet Earth or in India or not? That is the question. Why only Muslims have all the problems with every law? Why in other communities a problem? We know that below 2.1 is not a replacement rate. Hindus are already below 2.1. But that is not the point. Point is demographic imbalance, which has seen near separation of Kashmir is a lot of effort. We have stopped it. We have seen that dissidence and separatism in Northeast because of religious demography. We have seen how East Timor went away.
Mahima Singh's quick response, please, running out of time.
We know how Lebanon was nearly divided because of rising population, one against the other. We know Eritrea, what happened. We know Kosovo, Serbia, which was divided on demographic issues. So there are a lot of issues. They want to talk communal. I can talk communal.
Mr. Sharda, you brought in a number of issues. My only point is, are you not satisfied with the indicators right now? That was my question. Because the indicators suggest that...
indicator needs to go down further. I talked about both the issues.
And to that effect, a law will help. That's the point. Mahima Singh, you see, many experts, including many chief ministers, feel that fine, we need to reduce the population. We need to control population, but a law may not necessarily help. In fact, it may be counterproductive. Ms. Singh, last comment.
Indeed. You see, they boast that they don't believe in Harvard, but they do believe in hard work of their car sevaks, which has led the country astray earlier. And I would just say that, their actual intention is reflected in the legislations that they have done pertaining to Article 47, 51 and Article 48, against the cow slaughter, the real state of affairs we know. We know the state of affairs of poisonous liquor in Gujarat, the drug gate. We also know, that they've led the country astray.
Okay, so intentions have been brought into question. That's the point that is being made. I've completely run out of time. Ratan, Sharda, Mahima Singh, Varis Pathan, as well as Mr. Pathania. Thank you very much for joining us. Short break, but news continues on the other side. Stay tuned.